So I'm back on my 2004 Chevy Silverado with 171,000 miles on it. I paid $4,000 for it. It's a clean truck, beautiful condition, not distastefully modified with the ridiculous lift, squat, loud mufflers, four-wheel drive flavor. And I've been driving this truck for 6 weeks and I love it. I just really love this truck. A previous truck that I had was the 2015 Ram 1500. I sold it primarily because I was able to make a lot of profit compared to what I paid on it. And I will say, compared to that newer truck, I just love the ride. The seats are so much more comfortable. The ride feels really good and it's very cheap, easy to work on. And I will say so far, this is my favorite truck that I've had. Well, I still have my 2006 Toyota Tundra, but still, this has been an awesome truck. And for what I got into it and how clean it is, yeah, it's up there. But don't get me wrong, I love the Tundra. So with 171,000 miles, she's probably a little tired. Just taking a look at it, and I don't know how well you can see it. Those wires, they look to be original, which is common. So we're gonna put brand new wires in it. I haven't checked the spark plugs, but if I'm gonna go ahead and just take out the spark plugs and look at them, I'm just gonna replace them. This is for my own peace of mind, and it just lets me keep track of when all the maintenance has been done. So new plugs, new wires, and of course, like I talked about in a bunch of my other videos, PCV valve, OEM. And because with every PCV valve, typically with an older vehicle, when you take them apart, plastics and hoses tend to break. So we do have the PCV hose for it, or tube, whatever it is called. While I'm there, because I got to take everything out, I am going to change the valve cover gaskets. Now they are seeping a little bit, so we'll just go ahead and knock that out just to make sure that we don't have no further issues. And one thing about taking off the valve covers is it'll give me a good idea of how well or not well this engine was maintained. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, let's take this out. A 10, nope, an 8. Delete. Now what I am gonna do is I'm gonna take this out because I'm gonna clean the throttle body and also clean the mass airflow sensor. So let's do that. It's nice and loose. And we should be able to just I'm just gonna disconnect this, which is this like a security one, safety one. Let's see, pocket screwdriver, can you help me? That was probably more difficult than it needed to be, but it's out. So now with this out, we could go ahead and spray this mass airflow cleaner just like so. And we'll let this air dry, and by the time we finish the tune-up, we should be ready. Let's get these hoses out of the way. I think I'm just gonna pop that right over there. We got the coil packs. I need to take everything off so that way I could get to the valve cover. So I think what I'm gonna start doing is just pulling plug wires. Unfortunately, these things are coming off easy. Will they cooperate on the bottom? Well, good thing I bought new ones. Typically when they're that brittle, they're due for a change. So, and they're worn out. Now this one over here, let's try it the right way. Try to pull it this way. There we go. Well, we have casualties and broken wires, which it's fine. I'm replacing the wires. If you're gonna reuse the wires, I'm sure there's special tools to do it. But these things were like really stuck, and that back one was there. I mean, we were able to save 2 out of 4. But these things are like really hard and a little bit brittle. So it's a good thing that we're changing them. I'm pretty sure those do not come with these. These got a little thing, but no real big deal. We can still reuse them. They'll be fine. So now let's move on to the valve cover. So we're gonna go ahead and start unplugging things and let's get this connector off. There's one. There's two. And this is a good sign that the stuff has not been messed with, because I mean everything's in. Usually these clips are broken, but nothing is broken. That's a good thing, and it's fine. Pull this blue connector out somehow, like this. There you go. Lift this up. Perfect. And of course, this connector is going to have to disappear somehow. Maybe not. No, I think it's part of that, so we're good. Let's start taking these out. Try not to lose anything. And these are all 10s. Well, we'll never see that again. That's great. Let's slide out. Nope, more things holding it. There's one down here. How about now? Okay, so we got one more somewhere. There's one all the way back here, hidden by the insulation, so that's awesome. Probably gonna need a small one. All right, for that bolt back there, wrench, ratcheting wrench. Yep. So there's got to be one. Now let's just slide out. Just like so. And now we got full access to the 4 bolts that hold this in. But I want to make sure that we don't run into any potential issues, because I didn't buy this hose. So it's just kind of, you know, there you go. Nice and easy. Don't want to break this nipple either. Try this. I just bought this tool. And I think this tool might have saved me a headache and a couple of dollars. There we go. Hose still feel pliable, but they do tear. Now let's get these out. These should be 8. You should be able to rock this out. Yep, just like so. And this should come out right through here. And I can tell you what, I'm loving what I'm seeing already. Now let's get in here just a little bit, get a little more light. This engine looks like brand new. Let's see, can I get you to stay over there? Probably not. Let's get the lighting right. We really got to appreciate this. I mean, just look at that. Maybe this engine was replaced, or maybe it was really well maintained. I mean, I'm not sure. There's nothing on the Carfax, but I mean, just look at that. I mean, this is like, wow. This is really hot too. Whew. This is awesome. So very happy to see that. So now what I want to do is clean all this up, and I guess because we're on the passenger side, we'll just go ahead and start here first. Hose still pliable, good, check. There we go. It's kind of scary because that could have broke. That would have been bad. Now we got to get these guys out. They should just pop out. There we go. And I want to just get off all this oil and grime, make this thing look, you know, better than what it was. It's weird that this thing was leaking. So if you didn't see it on the engine, I cleaned it, but it had a sleep. It had a slight seep. This gasket doesn't feel terrible, but one of those while you're there. Let's get this gasket off. Get that nice and clean. Maybe we're looking from these because these are kind of broken, but then again, maybe I did that. Who knows? And these we're not using, so we could just cut them off, just like so. I think these were on their way out because, I mean, even though they feel pliable, they still are a bit brittle. So there we go. Now these are also oily. Okay, let's pop this wiring harness out, obviously. Then we can clean this up, make it look pretty, give it a little spray paint, just kind of restore it to show quality, so we can take it to the shows and it'll look good. So let me work on that, and then I'll show you how it looks. So a little bit later, after some cleaning, some scrubbing, it looks a lot better. I think we're ready for SEMA. Very happy with that. Went ahead and painted the bracket that holds the coil packs, and that looks so much better. So happy with that. Nice. So now before we do anything, what I want to do is just, I don't like leaving the engine open like that. So we're going to go ahead and put this valve cover back together. Mostly just the valve cover. We'll deal with the coil packs later, but at least do that, put the spark plugs on, then we can go to the other side. So Velcro gasket. This is your part number. Kind of interesting. It says 53576062. Nothing about a 4.8. Makes you feel good, but it was on Rock Auto's website. There's the information if you want it. A little bit of silicone paste. This will slide in. Maybe. There we go. Slide it just like so. Just pop it in and wiggle. Kind of make sure that it sits right there. I'm pretty sure these are mostly the same for both sides, but we'll find out. Got the blue gasket. Make sure these sit in the groove. Don't want this to roll off and leak. That would not be good. Especially since that back bolt is a pain in the butt to get to. I want to take this off again. All right, these are ready. Let's go ahead and wipe down the cylinder head. Make sure we have a clean surface. Like I said before, it's just pretty awesome how clean this engine is. Rebuilt, maybe they did a head gasket. I'm not 100% sure. Carfax is not telling me a lot, but you know what? I like what I see. A little Scotch pad, kind of help clean this up, make it nice and smooth. Just want to make sure we have no contamination on it. Nothing sticking up. And let's go ahead and slide this in. And this is a lot easier when you don't have that oil filler. Come on. Just want to make sure we plop it on and not roll it on. And then we get the fun task of lining these up. Did I get one? Look at that. Now let's use this just to bring it in just a little, not tighten it. And we'll torque it down later. And we're just going to hand tight this. Don't go crazy with these. I've had these things strip out in the head. I mean, luckily it's easy to do, fix, but still, we don't want that. That would defeat the purpose of all this hard work to prevent the leak. Yes, there is a torque spec. What it is, enough. That's all I can say. I mean, just tight enough to get it done. Or typically I just go into my shoulder pots and it hurts. That's a good torque setting. Perfect. Just break these loose and then we'll use the tool just to take it out faster. So spark plugs, AC Delcos. These look like they've been there a while. I don't know if they've ever been changed. They might be the original, but either way, if that's the case, I mean, it looks pretty good. Definitely worn out and could use a tune-up. Now I'm going with the NGK's Iridium IX. They had good reviews, so why not? Still the same OEM spec, so they should be perfectly fine. And the part number, in case anybody's asking, TR5IX. And I'm just gonna go ahead, I haven't even taken out the rest of the spark plugs, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get this thing in here, and I'll have to move the camera out of the way because you're in my way. Pulled out the next one. Looking pretty good. So maybe this is just the original engine and they just kept up with the oil changes. This too, same thing. Yep, looks good. No signs of oil burning or anything like that, so I'm very happy. So these look a lot better. I just went ahead and cleaned these off. I mean, yeah, you got a little rust over here, but these coil packs are fine. Nothing wrong with them. At least you don't see the corrosion that was kind of coming up right over here. So made that look a lot better. Now we could go ahead and slide these in. Just like somewhere around here. And of course our fun one in the back, the one I just enjoy. So note to self, the back part of these Chevy engines is miserable as far as going towards the firewall. So for the wires, the AC Delco, these are the part numbers. So here's a tip. Underneath the coil packs, which I should have showed you when I had them out, there's actually a number. You need to match up the number to make sure you get the right wires with it. Instead of having to take it out, you just take a picture of the number underneath the coil pack, and then when you go to Rock Auto, you can match up with what part number you need. I think it's different lengths. I don't know exactly the applications, but I know if you go to Rock Auto, they'll say if you have these coil packs, whatever the number is, you have to have these wires. So just take a picture. That's what I did, and this is what the truck calls for. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get these heat shields as well. I mostly assumed that it came with it, but oh well. But this is gonna slide in just like so, going like that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this up with silicone paste and then dielectric grease for the inside. Now let's start with my favorite one first, because this is my most favorite spark plug, this back one, which has been the bane of my existence in this job. Oh, that clicked in really easy. Coming out, you're a pain, but going in, you know, you want to cooperate. Let's do that 3 more times, and then we should be done with this side. All right, moving on to the next one. You know, Chevy, you're getting on my nerves with these clips. There we go. We'll find it later. But what I want to do now is take this off and just clean off the throttle body a little bit. Doing is we're trying to get to this hose, and it's not easy. Now, I just want to make sure this doesn't leak, and I really don't feel like taking the other hose out, so we're just going to shove this in here. And all right, and now that we have this, we can go ahead and clean that, which, as you can see, is pretty grimy. So let's get that cleaned up. Yeah. This is going to be so much better. Better throttle response. I mean, restored horsepower. You're not going to get improved. You're just going to get restored of whatever you may have lost. Smoother idles. Ideally, it's the perfect time to change that gasket, but I forgot to order it. Still looks good and puffy, and I'll show you that in a sec. Most of the time, this gunk just wipes off simple with carb cleaner, brake part cleaner. Unfortunately, this one is doing the same thing, so we're good. So like I was talking about with the gasket, nice and puffy, still raised. It's good. They're cheap, but I forgot to order at Rock Auto, and I definitely don't like buying from AutoZone or the local places because they charge way too much. Yeah, but anyways, so now this is nice and clean, looks way better, as you can see compared to before. So let's put it back together now. Done. Now to the driver's side. Now for the driver's side, let's get this cable. Ow. It's wiring. There you go. I think what I'm gonna do is just take these coil packs off, just like so. Just like the other side, we got these bolts that need to come out. Now back here, this pulled off nice and easy for the PCV valve. For 8mm, just like the other side. And just like the other side, looks beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead, clean it up, give it the treatment just like the other side. We'll check the spark plugs on this, and we should just about have this thing wrapped up. So I went ahead and just finished off the driver's side off camera. It's pretty much the same thing, just that big wiring harness, but because the spark plugs are facing in this direction, you actually have a lot more room to get to them. So it is a little easier. Still annoying, but it is what it is. I guess I got used to the whole 4 cylinders, you know, spark plugs right up top. But anywho's, the spark plugs on this side look just as good. Original AC Delcos, the wires were crumply. So now let's see, cleaning the mass airflow, throttle body, new spark plugs, wires, and of course, no valve cover leaks. Let's see how she runs. And I went ahead and disconnected the battery. You know, that way the computer could kind of relearn everything. So it's actually the next day, and if you saw from the previous clip, this thing was misfiring. So I read the code, it's a P0356, something about a coil pack type F or anything like that. And the question is did the coil pack on cylinder 6 go bad, or did I cause it? It's interesting. So it was running fine before, no, not so much. So I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I can switch out the coil to a different one and see if that follows. But the other thing too is I remember yesterday, I was real tired when I was doing this job. Word of advice, don't do this when you're tired. I was tightening down the bracket that holds everything together, and something just didn't feel right. And instead of doing the right thing and just, you know, hey, so let me slow down, I kept on going. Now when I did the driver's side, I tightened it and it felt good, but it felt like I was pressing on something. So there is a chance that I might have pinched the wire. So I think what I'm just gonna go ahead and do is just unplug everything, take that whole bracket out, check that wiring harness, and make sure I'm good. If the wiring harness turns out to be intact, then yes, it could be potentially the coil. So I'm gonna go with that. The path of least resistance would be just to swap the coils, but that could be a variable that I damaged the wiring harness. So let's start there. So 4 bolts, this is taken out. Took a look at the back and, well, I didn't squish no wires. Everything looks to be working as it should. I'm glad I did that because I'd hate to be chasing something that I potentially did wrong. So I know I didn't break the wire, so then it leads me to believe that possibly this coil pack is bad. Now, there are ways to test it, and we could go down that whole rabbit hole doing that, which it's not that bad, but I'm just gonna do it simple. I'm gonna put this back together, swap out these coils. I've disconnected the battery so it can erase the code. And if the code moves from cylinder 6 to cylinder 4, then I know this is bad and I need a coil. Great, bummer. What caused it to go bad? Could be coincidence, I don't know. Still haven't fully ruled this out, so let's start there and confirm if it's the coil. All right, put it back together, fired her up, and no misfires. It's actually running real smooth. Well, minus the fact that I don't know how to put that back together, but you know, we'll figure that out. That's future me's problem. So let's jump in, let's check the codes. No check engine light, no flashing, and I did reset the battery. Yeah. Not sure exactly what happened, but I have my suspicions. So this is what I'm thinking, and I found this out after the fact. I forgot to tighten one of these bolts on the valve cover, and I was missing a bolt. I think it was this one on the valve cover. So I didn't tighten one, I missed one, and I was only going off for 2-3 hours of sleep yesterday when I did this. I believe this is grounded, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, I'd have to do more research, but I think that was the issue, and not just having the proper ground is causing that problem. I mean, truck's running real smooth, idle feels smooth, because obviously we cleaned the throttle body, mass airflow sensor, all new plugs, wires, so everything's pretty good. So that is awesome. Sleep is great, so let's wrap this up. Well, there's the truck, and it's not in the garage. That's always a great feeling when the truck is not parked in the garage because it's broke down and stuck. So I just came back from a nice spirited test drive with the truck, running fantastic. I thought the truck ran really good before the tune-up, and now it has a lot more pep. It feels a lot smoother, and it feels a lot more peppier. Not that we gained power, we just restored lost power with worn out parts. As far as the misfire, I think it's a few things. Number one, I was tired, not paying attention, 2-3 hours worth of sleep. Mistakes happen. Definitely don't recommend working on the vehicle when you're tired. And number two, not having those studs, one of those studs or bolts, whatever you call them, in. One was loose, one I forgot to put in. I'm pretty sure that's a ground. And I think that's the issue that I was having, that it wasn't grounded through that. After seeing that and tightening it and putting everything right, truck runs beautiful. So truck is done, at least for now, as far as the tune-up. Very happy, excited about that. Moving forward, next thing to work on is suspension. I want to rebuild and redo the whole front end of it, just all new bushings, everything. Get the truck nice and tight. I'm still back and forth on if I'm going to do a slight lift or a leveling kit. Rough Country has the leveling kit with the 3-inch blocks in the back and do the 2-inch in the front. I love the way the truck rides, but I don't want to make it stiff. So with that being said, I'll have to do a little research and stay tuned for future videos. Got a lot of things coming to this truck, definitely enjoying it. So thanks for watching.